Welcome to the Kaiju Podcast. I'm Ralph.
I'm Jorge.
And today we are discussing Ultraman, episode 37, The Little Hero.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
It's like dude jumping right into a late Ultraman.
Yeah, and this is our first episode with a guest.
This is a very special episode. I mean, the whole reason we're doing it, this particular episode, is because of the impression that it made on our special guest.
I forced you into doing this.
Michael Giacchino. We're actually at his place.
Yeah, we're all together here in California.
He just showed it to me.
This is the first time that Jorge and I are recording in person.
Face to face.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Sure.
which is
Yeah.
kind of weird, too.
Yeah.
That makes me happy. Brought you
So,
together.
first, I just want to do like a little intro of like just kind of like where Ralph and I kind of coming at this. When we started doing this podcast, we started Googling Kaiju and stuff just to start creating like our master list of things that we're going to want to see and record. And this picture came up with these Kaiju that we didn't know, we weren't familiar with.
Yeah.
And there was this really weird little guy in it.
Yeah.
With big lips, and he held his hands a certain way. And then, months later, Michael, you're in Hawaii, and we're hanging out talking. I had like a Godzilla on my shirt, and we were talking about, and I said, oh yeah, I also do this podcast with Ralph and stuff, and you'd met Ralph before, like, and stuff. And then you said, oh yeah, there was this guy, and it scared the crap out of me when I was little, and you held your hands up in the position of Pigmon, even though we'll get into the fact that you thought his name was Sigmund in your memory, but
yes.
in the Pigmon, in that same position that we've been already seeing photos, like old pictures, as well as people's artwork of this same character.
Before we even started the podcast, I'd never seen a picture of this thing.
Yeah.
And then since
Suddenly
doing
this
it,
little
he
weird
pops
guy
up.
shows up everywhere.
He's
Yeah.
everywhere. He's famous. He's like a huge
Everywhere.
deal. He's
Everywhere
iconic.
like, and then you did that hand. I know who you're talking about. Just while you're holding the hands.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, well, then that's what we have to talk about when we do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
part of Ralph and I is we're not experts in these movies. We just like them
Right.
and
Yeah.
like to watch.
Well, that was the
monsters
same
destroy
for
cities
me.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
So you are basically our authority on
Oh, boy.
Ultraman now.
Yeah.
And here we jump in. Episode, was it 39?
37.
37.
And this is the only second time I've seen Ultraman. I saw the first episode maybe about a year ago.
Uh-huh.
And so I have like
And how do you not then continue
Now,
to the second
all I
episode?
know about Ultraman myself was, like, I had one of those, those toys that are like, they had like a wheel on them, and when you run the wheel, there's a little hole in it, and sparks shoot out.
Yeah.
the neck hole.
Yep.
On these things. I had an Ultraman, one of those. I didn't know it was Ultraman at the time. I just knew it was a cool-looking robot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Well, he's not a robot.
I know, but as far as I can figure out, he was a cool-looking robot. And so, clearly he's not a robot, because when you see the way the outfit moves, it's kind of weird. It's like it's rubber. It's almost like a dolphin skin.
Yeah.
The thing is, I had seen that, and I remember Ultraman being referenced in this old Henry Rollins cassette tape that a friend of mine had borrowed. It's called like Long Walk on a Short Pier, and he talked about the story, like whenever, to avoid being bullied, he would swing on the swings. And he said the best song, he was humming the theme to Ultraman because it's the best song to swing to while you pump your legs.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it is a great song.
It's amazing.
I thought Ultraman was a robot as well, but I think it's because of Jet Jaguar.
Right.
Like, I'm a big fan of Jet Jaguar, and I've known
Right.
Jet Jaguar forever.
Right.
And he's kind of looks the same, and
Yeah,
he's made it like
I could
this,
see that.
like a rubber suit, and he was a robot.
Yeah.
So I just assumed Ultraman was a robot, even though it's got the word "man" in the title.
No, he's an
Right.
alien, actually. I mean, from what I understand, as your
The
resident
human
expert,
being is?
Yeah, he's an alien.
The guy who turns into him is an alien?
Well, no, that's a real guy. What happened? Here's what happened, okay?
Is this like Greatest American Hero?
Well, sort of. It's not that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was a blue sphere that came down from space, entered Earth's atmosphere. Hayata, who was with the Japanese Air Force, and he's also part of Science Patrol, which is a segment of the Japanese Air Force.
Okay, I want to talk about that for a second.
Science
Can we
Patrol?
pause for a second?
Yeah.
I know. What
Okay,
we're gonna
so
talk about
we
first.
are first outfits. Okay, so in the opening of this thing, Pigmon is in a store,
It's like in a mall. Yeah.
and everyone's freaking out because he's in the department store, and he notices a toy of himself also that seems to freak out about a little bit too.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he had been on a previous episode.
Okay.
And they're either cops or security guards. Right. So he's part of this world. But
Yeah.
So is the Science Patrol the people in the orange outfits that show up?
Yes.
So they're kind of like a version of the X-Wing fighter outfit, only formal with ties.
Yes, exactly.
Now, these are incredible costumes.
The first thing I thought was,
this is the
how
costume.
will it look on my body type?
Yeah, exactly. That outfit. It's not one piece. It looks like there's
it's several pieces. It's like
separates.
a jacket and the pants and the.
But the way the tie is there,
and the pin is the
it's
thing.
amazing.
The pin is the key.
Yeah.
The little pin they have, which is an awesome pin. You know. So anyway, this blue thing comes down. Okay? Hayata goes to find out what it is in his. He's in a jet, right? Fighter jet.
Okay.
And then a red sphere comes out of nowhere, knocks into his jet. He crashes. Now, the thing in the red sphere is Ultraman. Ultraman, Hayata is, for all intents and purposes, dead. Ultraman feels really badly that he caused this accident. He was going after the blue thing. And in doing so, he ended up almost killing Hayata. So what he does is he fuses himself with Hayata in order to save him out of guilt. I don't know. Maybe he was Catholic. I don't know. But he fuses himself.
Now, this is a giant Ultraman with a human-sized Hayata?
Yeah, well, he ended up sort of like a spirit goes into him, you know? And
Yeah, but
then,
like when he's feeling bad, he's like, is he holding a doll? Is this in the pilot? This is the pilot.
This is the... Yeah,
Okay.
yes. I don't know. But he has
We're
this
gonna
thing
watch
called a beta capsule.
Right.
Now, I don't remember. I'm a little fuzzy on exactly how he gets the beta capsule, but clearly Ultraman somehow gives this thing to him. No, there is this conversation between he and Ultraman. Now that I remember, yes, and he says, you will do this, and every time you need whatever. The whole sort of Fortress of Solitude type of conversation. So now, whenever these monsters come to Earth to take out the planet, he uses his beta capsule and he summons Ultraman.
Hayata gets to stay alive.
Yes.
Or basically come back to life. But now, it's like the Santa Claus. He now has to...
Yes.
He has to, when Ultraman is needed, he has to use the thing so
Exactly.
Ultraman can do the job.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, he didn't ask for that arrangement.
No.
Which is...
It was
thrust upon him. Yes. So it was not something he asked for. And I always wondered if given the choice, would he have just said, no, just let me die in the plane crash.
Now, the other question is, do we know if when he Ultramans, is it Hayata as Ultraman, or is it Ultraman's brain spirit?
Well, I don't know. He does, he, as you saw today in the episode, he does communicate with the guys. Like when the guy said, okay, you ready? And he nods to him, yes, I'm ready. When he's holding the thing. Yeah. So they do talk, but does he remember that when he's... No, he does remember, because it's always like... It's like the whole Superman thing, and they're like, where were you? And all of that. That happens all the time. He's like, I was over there helping. So, but so he is aware of what's going on. So it's very much like that.
Yeah, I definitely I'm looking forward to when we delve into this show. Yeah. Pigmon's a weird looking monster.
Let me tell you, that thing never left my brain from the very first time I ever saw it. The Pigmon, and a lot of those monsters, they were the designs of those monsters.
This particular death?
Yes. No, I remember
Or you mean just Pigmon in general?
Pigmon in general, first of all.
Yeah.
But then the emotionality of the episode as well. I mean, we watch it now and it seems a little, a little kitschy. But as a kid, I remember being so sad when Pigmon died.
Sure, I buy it.
I remember being so sad, because he was like this.
I mean, you've had 37 episodes to fall in love with him, or whenever you got introduced.
Yeah, so
it was a bummer. And we when we watched Godzilla vs. Destroyer recently, which is not going to air till October, but I
mean,
it was one of those.
We will at one point watch Godzilla vs. Destroyer, and we will feel bad.
Yeah. We still at this point.
We play with time in the show.
We feel bad for any time the monsters are really hurt and in pain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any problem with that, because even watching this when Pigmon. Well, I mean,
and it's not an easy.
The monster gets bloody too.
Yeah, the monster gets bloody, but that monster was an asshole.
He's a bad guy. Yeah.
He was not a nice guy.
No,
right? So, but Pigmon, and he doesn't die an easy death. I mean, that's pretty brutal, right?
Yeah,
it was a surprise.
Yeah. It's quick. It's hard. It's a stomp and out.
Yeah,
it's done.
It's pretty nasty. And he was a nice guy. And the thing about his death is he went out to save those guys.
Right. That one guy was going to get squashed.
Yeah.
He goes, no, over here. Now, and clearly he does appear like the way the kid interacts when he sees Pigmon in the store.
Yeah.
And I do feel you could see that he has potential, that he's probably like the one that the kids like for his cuteness factor.
Right.
I guess.
Sort of.
Cute.
Yeah.
In terms of,
air quotes.
As far as monsters go, yes.
It's his crinkle cut fries hair.
He is kind of disturbing looking. I mean,
he's weird.
I thought it looked like coral.
It's a lot of lips. Oh, coral on his back. Yeah. That's probably what they're intended.
And his voice.
Yeah, he kind of talked in monkey noises.
Yeah.
Like when someone is doing like an impression of a chimpanzee.
Or like Charlie Brown's teacher. Yeah. It was really strange. But you have to admit, the translating machine is pretty impressive.
There's a lot. They spent a long time trying to figure out what he was saying. It's like I was like, is this show is just about the people?
Well, there was one point where the guy says...
This should be called Science Patrol.
It says he made the machine... And he was able to figure out what he said, but now he needed a translator.
Yeah.
But that sentence didn't make sense to me.
It didn't make sense either. Like, I thought that's what that guy was.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was doing, too. But actually, I love that guy, too.
Is the machine now?
That one guy.
The guy in the gray suit.
Yeah, he was like the scientist with the cigarette.
He's the guy who has... No. Oh, was that the same guy?
Or was that the translator?
Jacket?
Maybe that was the
translator. I was like, it says, okay, now that we figured out what he means... We need someone who does translation to then explain to us how to make this into sentences.
I didn't.
Really weird.
I don't know if that was just.
Or is it the machine that's a translator, which is record it, rewind it, and it plays back in English?
Yeah,
or whatever language.
Like after watching Godzilla's Revenge and hearing Minya talk in English when he's like that Barney Fife voice. Yeah. So the build up to Pigmon talking in his Pigmon voice.
Yes.
And them recording it and waiting to hear the recording played back and having them rewind it all the way.
It just goes on forever.
And then they press play and it takes a while before you actually hear his voice. Like that build-up was like, oh man, this better be good.
As a kid, it was like so suspenseful.
Yeah.
And remember the moment when Pigmon starts to freak out inside the booth?
Yeah.
When first he's just doing normal things. And then all of a sudden he starts freaking out. Like something's going on. Yeah. And then you cut to wherever the heck that was, somewhere else, I guess, in Japan, and the mountainsides, and that thing just comes out of the ground, right? And there was two of them, and
it was almost like
Why were those two fighting though?
He was doing well. This is something that we talk a lot about on the show. Is that monsters
as soon as they see each other,
they just
hate
each
other.
other.
Yeah.
But he said there were 60 monsters that were coming down. He was the head of 60 monsters. So is he constantly like dealing with a kindergarten class where they're all going at each other? If you're the head of 60 monsters,
I have no idea.
And also because they referred to both Red King and Gabora, by name, but those do not appear to be the monsters that are on the screen. Like when I Google those two monsters. Like, Red King is like the one that looks like the Michelin Man with big fists.
Right.
Okay.
And Gabora, I don't know. I just looked him up, and he looks like...
But I was like, I wonder which of these two gray monsters are Red King.
This.
Oh, okay. That's Red King?
No, that's Gabora.
Gabora.
You'd think he'd be Red King because he's
red.
I've seen that before.
He looks like a mix between Gamera and like
that's scary.
The Demigorgon from Stranger Things.
And Audrey, too.
It does look like Audrey too.
When they finally played back the message and he was speaking English, I liked the voice.
I
ended up liking it. But it's funny because it was like run-on sentences.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like they did the run-on sentences because Pigmon didn't talk that much in Pigmon voice.
Right.
Unless the Pigmon voice has like shorter, the words are shorter.
But what I thought was at the very end of the message, what did it say? End of message.
Yeah.
But also the recording.
But I think the machine speaks in a robotic voice. It's almost like Small Wonder.
But the recorded voice would pause long enough for them to answer questions, or ask questions, and then it would continue on. Like they would speak in between the breaks, and Pigmon never had those breaks. But
then it made me wonder: was Pigmon just a messenger, or was he actually down there to warn them himself? Because when you say something like "end of message,"
no, I think "end of message" is the machine saying it's the end of.
Oh, because it's not Pigmon's voice.
Okay.
Because it's not Pigmon's voice. Because I thought that was funny too.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's just like that's the end of translation. Basically.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. You know what? Thank you.
It's like an answering machine.
30 years now, I've wondered.
Why does he say end of message?
But there's some effects in there that I love. Like I always love that show for the effects that it does. There's some great set pieces, and you know I believe the guy who was from Toho Studios is the guy who initially designed all those things. You know, so it had some good pedigree. This show.
Well, I like the fact that the camera moved a lot around the model sets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that too much in Godzilla movies where the cameras really move a lot. They're a little clunky, but it's still cooler to look at the models when, the cameras move around the set.
And this was made, what, 60? What year was this one?
I didn't see the year.
I love the fake jets. I love that stuff.
Oh, and then
isn't that great?
The super scientists. What are they? What's the
Science Patrol?
Science Patrol?
Yeah.
I like their jet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of like unique sort of flight thing with Pigment sitting
when he's riding in the middle. Yeah. And he does this thing, his eyes move like up and down a little bit the whole time, kind of like, in a way, I feel like that's the kind of things I sometimes do, like to show life, that like it's not just like, a suit.
Yeah.
Well, I love how when they're leaving the airplane, he says, "No, you stay here.
Right.
You wouldn't like it out there.
Be a good boy.
You wouldn't like it out there." And he's just like shakes his head. No.
Sleeping Pigment in the toy store.
Yeah.
His little eyelashes.
Well, the other thing was when they got out of the airplane.
Eyelids.
When they got out of the airplane, and they literally, all right, they don't want to be seen, right, by these monsters, but they're wearing these bright orange, which were, you could not stand out more against that landscape.
Yeah. It's kind of like Bond henchmen orange.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like whenever like Bond people have their own little mini armies, they're always either orange, yellow, or red, just like clash.
There were some editing things which were a little weird though that I noticed that I never noticed as a kid. When after he gets squashed. Like he squashes him. He's right there.
Yes.
The guys just run right up to him, and the monster's gone.
No concern for the monster at all.
No, he's just not even there. So I wasn't even. That was a little confusing.
What two species of bear do you think he figured out the translation for? The scientist. Because it's weird that he picked two bears that he could figure out the translation.
Wait, was that a line?
So,
was I?
Yeah.
Did I not hear that?
So was that you're saying to unlock Pigment, he takes two species of bear and combines them?
They're just saying this guy's accolades so far.
Oh, all right.
They said he was able
that's
to
right.
do...
Yes.
Right. And a dolphin. He also was working on a dolphin.
And the dolphin. Yes. Yeah, well.
I picked up the dolphin and remember the bear.
So I guess
and what did the dolphin...
Two bears have different languages, I guess.
But what would a bear say?
Why would you want to talk to
him?
I mean, really?
What was the Godzilla versus Gigan where Godzilla and Angulus are talking to each other in English?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No. What?
Oh, you're going to have to watch that. It's Godzilla and Angulus are speaking English to each other.
Mouths moving? Or just telepathy kind of a thing?
Well, it's two versions. In the original Japanese, they'll screonk, and then a word bubble with Japanese characters pops up. Or the American, they do a voiceover, and
it's like a dude's voice.
And there's no voice bubble?
No voice bubble. No.
They actually speak English.
Which do you prefer?
Neither. It shouldn't exist.
So wait, do you think the monsters can't communicate with each other in this world? Or
it's creepy.
I think they communicate, but I don't think they should have syntax.
Well, but think about it. Like in that message they got from Pigman, he says that this monster has a grudge against Ultraman. Right.
Uh-huh.
So they
had
fought.
Science Patrol.
Yeah, and the Science Patrol. They had a fight before, and he has a grudge against them. So clearly they.
This is a monster coming back.
Yeah.
Okay. So that monster. What's that monster's name?
The one with the feathers.
Yeah. What was his name?
I just wrote down the bearded dragon.
Yes.
Yeah.
He looked like
that's clear. It's like
feather darts.
It felt very much like, how do we recycle this outfit? Let's put a beard on him. Let's just cover him with feathers.
Yeah.
But I love that one moment when Ultraman's sitting on top of him.
Yanking the feathers
and
out?
he's yanking them off.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So again, clearly they're sentient, right? He had a mission to come back and get this guy.
Yeah.
So they're not just
He
mindless.
pops, that monster's weird looking. He pops up like a showgirl. And then he keeps shooting his feathers out, and they poke into him, into Ultraman. So that was where I go, oh, so he's not made out of metal. Because those things don't just actually penetrate.
Oh, I thought he was made out of metal, but those were just really sharp feathers.
I don't think he's metal. No, I think that they just. I never thought he was metal. Okay. I thought it was just like a suit. Oh. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, there is a big zipper at the back.
I was imagining being a big Velcro thing.
Did they even have Velcro back then?
It's a huge seam.
But I don't think they had Velcro then, did they?
You mean as far as the invention of Velcro?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Is it that new? Well, I'm looking.
Well, let's look.
Well, I remember the day I was able to stop tying my shoes because of Velcro shoes.
What was the king?
That was in the 80s.
King. The monster was called King what?
Red King?
Red King?
Well, Red King's that guy with a fist.
And that's...
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They said
this is
Gabora and... Oh, Red King, yeah.
This guy. He was scary, too. I mean, there's an episode where it has these guys with these sort of lobster claw hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was one of the ones that scared me the most as a kid, that episode.
Yeah, I have a toy of that. So one of my Japanese fans once sent me a toy of that guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a bug head and 2 lobster claws. Hands.
It's so scary.
And I don't know who it is. That's something that I'm waiting to show up as well. There's a shadow puppet of him in the opening credits. Like, there's
yes, he's right in the front.
What are Ultraman's powers? Because I noticed he does the arm thing. Oh,
yeah, so there we go. Well,
the cross arms, and that shoots a ray.
Shoots a ray. Okay. Yes, that's
originally invented in 1941. By the way, Velcro.
41 and
41,
then,
but then get patented in like the 1955. And
so when was it available for monster suits?
Humphrey Cripps began investing in Velcro companies in the 1960s.
Humphrey Cripps?
Yeah.
Now, I had always heard that it was invented by NASA.
Velcro is a portmanteau of the French words velour and crochet.
Huh.
Velvet hook.
Velvet hook.
Have you seen the statue? It's like, me and Jorge have discussed this. It's like it's a statue. It's like a bust, but it's just
a figure.
It's just the Ultraman arm.
Yeah.
The full size.
Just
the arms.
Yeah.
You've seen that? Bodied arms.
Yeah. But that's come on.
That's his thing.
Iconic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my friends used to run around, the yard.
So that's what it does. It shoots
the
gamma
rays,
laser,
and I believe it's gamma rays. I can't be.
But then later he creates a construct,
right?
Wall.
Where he stops. Well,
is that like something you've seen a lot?
Every once in a while, he'll do that stuff when it's convenient.
That's pretty great.
He can do these other things. But what about when he sort of stopped everything? He got the feathers to stop. Remember? And
he make it stop?
And he was frozen in air too. And then he just started spinning around this way.
Yeah,
in a circle, almost like when you're spinning to go take a turn in a game or something.
Yeah, there's the flying Ultraman set piece, thing for the thing, and then
there was one where he was coming straight down, and then they cut to the monster, and Ultraman's feet came in. Remember, because he was facing with his hands towards the monster, and then the next cut it was his feet, and it hit him right in the face. So I don't know. I guess you just do with what you can.
Yeah.
Can you imagine filming one of those? What that would have been like? That must have been so hot.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be, they can only do for so long. I mean, that clearly is like a rubber suit.
Yeah.
And they've got to be doing it.
It wasn't, I don't think they had breathable flat.
It's got to be bad.
And I mean, Ultraman isn't in the episode for like a super long amount of time, but I mean, they've got to be shooting these fast.
Yeah, you do just maybe even less than 10 minutes, take a break, do it again.
It is.
Then get the rigid one and hang it from the wires and get shots of that.
Let's work on some of those for a while he takes another break.
But the great thing about the show is it's 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
You just can binge it real quick.
So I want to talk about the Science Patrol's guns.
Oh yeah, how
each
wavy.
There's the guns by themselves.
Yeah.
And then they lined them all up, did the cross the streams thing with 3 to give a special blast.
An extra.
And then the other guy had that thing that he could put on the end of it.
That's the thing he created.
Yeah, and the new gun really blew chunks out of that guy.
And that was the thing he was getting depressed about. That guy's always sort of down on himself. He's sort of like the guy who doesn't really believe in himself and always thinks he's going to fail. And then you have the hardened captain who is always just like...
Snap out of it, man!
Yes, and he's just like... I can't even do it that low. Heard how deep his voice was. And then the girl, I forget her name, and then Hayata, and then, that's it, I guess. So, they make a good team, though, I think.
Yeah.
It's a
those
good...
suits. That's all I wanted, those suits.
So the question is, for you, would you watch another episode?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
We watched it, I don't know, we finished watching like a half hour ago. I already went to iTunes to see if it was available to purchase, which it's not.
But it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah. So you can watch it on
what's
Amazon.
available.
Ultraman, the series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I
have to double check.
I think I might have DVDs in Hawaii that I found at a book off.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the DVDs somewhere in the house, but
there's probably is Ultraman still going? Is it one of those things? That's
yes. Well, yeah. Actually, I don't know when the last one was, but they've been making movies.
I've seen Ultramans with different heads.
Yes, they're different because he's from another place. So there are different ones. There's all different kinds.
Oh, are they all from that place?
I think so.
Oh, so there's each Ultraman's a different type of person?
It's like a race.
Like they all wear red and silver.
Exactly. But then there's
their
all
heads
different
are
kinds.
different?
Yes.
Just different shapes?
And then some of them are just redesigns for newer movies.
Because someone sent me something that was almost like all the Ultramans going on vacation. Some had horns and some,
Yeah.
I'm guessing they make different ones just so they can sell more toys.
I mean, I suppose we could look into this a little more and figure out exactly. But yeah, you see guys like that with the horns and all that.
Yeah, that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. I never saw any of those. The only ones I watched were the show that we just did. I've seen all of those, but I haven't ever seen any of the movies. Once in a while, I'll see a trailer for one.
Ultraman of this?
Well, this is episode 37.
And aren't there 39 of them or something?
Like, when did these other heads start
40s?
showing
All right,
up?
so...
Yeah.
This is the part where the people who listen to us who know this stuff start going crazy and start yelling at their phones.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to yell
and then leaving reviews.
Teach us.
They're like, oh, I wish they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, so there was one made in 2016.
Whoa!
Yeah, a movie. And there's a trailer for that.
That's what we need to do. We should probably track down the movies at least, because...
there's been a bunch of movies made in Japan.
They also made movies of episodes,
they spliced together a bunch of episodes to make a movie.
Yeah,
they did that too.
Well, I do know that there were newer ones that were made too. I don't know.
Wow.
We'd have to figure out a way to get through the series.
Yeah,
you mean as far as
do
in this format?
Yeah.
I say 2 episodes at a time.
Oh man.
Yeah, it'd be great to start at the very beginning.
That'd be like
it's a whole nother.
That'd be up until this point. At least 17.
Because they're jam packed. Yeah, but they're jam packed. It's if we did more than 2 per episode, it'd be trying to keep track of all the monsters because each one's got to have at least one monster in it. This one had 3,
and then Pigmon.
4.
Today I was looking for somebody online who might have put together here's a list of every episode with a picture of the monster that he fought in that episode. I couldn't find anything like that.
Database.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they have. Episode synopsises and things like that, and some of them have pictures, some of them don't. But in some episodes, he fights more than one, monster. So I was hoping there'd be some sort of master, and maybe there is, and maybe someone will write in and say yes, or here, look at this. But I'd love to see it if it exists.
The first 2 monsters show up, and they just start fighting each other.
Yeah.
And in my head, I thought one of those was supposed because all right, we knew Pigmon was going to die because this is how it was brought up.
Yeah.
And while we were trying to figure out how we could watch the full episode, we were watching the clip where he died. And so I assumed that was the star of this episode.
Right.
That one that's kind of black and white.
Right.
And
he ends up being sort of like the precursor.
He ends up being kind of just the lead. And so like the lead-in guy. And so he shows up with this other guy, and they automatically start fighting. He gets bitten in the arm, which was good.
Right.
We get some really red blood.
Yeah.
It was really red.
Yeah.
Like super red.
Yeah, that's good 60s red blood.
But it's a monster.
Kind of like Hammer movies. Where it's like...
They need a lot of oxygen.
Got to be a lot of red. And, they just fight.
Well, the first thing is
And it's like, he beats up that one monster, because that monster just... he wasn't a threat.
No. Well, there's no
just
real understanding as to
badass
what the hell they were doing. Why were they fighting?
Well, the first monster showed up, and the first thing he does is he's like, fuck this mountain, and he smashes it in half for no reason.
Right.
He's angry.
What's going on in the brains where they hate mountains?
Do you think that Pigmon sensed? Was there a something that he sensed when he started freaking out in the microphone booth? Did he? Because they cut right to the monster coming out. Did he sense that this was starting to happen?
He was trying to give him a warning.
You're right. At first, I was thinking that he came to the humans to warn them ahead of time. And
going to the toy
store
in
the store.
In the toy store, yeah, maybe.
Then he gets in the toy store. He's like, because let's face it, first time I saw a toy myself, I freaked out a little bit.
Toy stores are
great, and it's moving. It's moving. Yeah. None of the other toys are moving. But then he fell asleep. I didn't know what was going on.
I thought it was cool that they knew exactly who to call. They literally just they dialed the phone and it was Science Patrol.
Right.
They probably cover all of that stuff.
They clearly are who you call.
It's like the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like he was here to warn us, and no one could understand him. It seemed like he could understand the Science Patrol.
Yeah.
Because he was cooperating pretty well. But and he was trying to give the message, no one could understand him. And when he was in the booth, it was like, okay, guys, seriously, they're here now.
Get on it.
You gotta. That's why he was freaking out, because he knew that they were there.
They were just wasting time.
Timeline. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was that he sensed that these guys were coming. But let's go back to the store for a moment.
Okay.
If you're writing this script, someone in the room says, all right, let's just start it out in a toy store. He's sitting in a toy store. Seriously, no one asked, like, why? Like, what was...
The only thing I could think of is from a production standpoint is we have Ultraman toys that we can sell. Let's show people on TV. It's almost like a commercial.
Right. Well, it was a huge hit with families when it first came out. So kids loved it. Yeah. So I'm sure it was...
And that's the only time we really saw that kid, too, was at the beginning.
Right.
So to have a kid in a toy store excited about Pigmon, and then they said it a couple times that Pigmon is not scary. Pigmon loves humans.
Yeah,
right. Like they really wanted to hammer that home. Hair everybody.
Like friend to
Pigmon,
children. Yeah.
Pigmon is really friendly, and look, we also have toys of him.
Yes, and
it was kind of a commercial, but I mean,
but from a story point of view,
it made no sense.
It literally makes no sense, right? It's like you said, he comes out of his ship and says, "Look, a toy store."
Are you familiar with these other monsters? This guy.
Oh, I've seen this picture before. Yeah.
Okay, so that guy.
This was the original picture that when we saw.
Look at that.
When we saw Pigmon, we're like,
yeah.
Who's that little guy?
Yep.
It's that picture where it's. Oh, you'll have to post it. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
Where's that?
The one guy's got like a snail head.
He kind of looks like Mayor McCheese a little bit.
Yeah.
With antenna.
With snail eyes.
There was a toy of him in the toy store as well. Just to the left of Pigmon.
Yeah.
There was a toy of that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, the toy shelf, I noticed him too.
I thought there was also a Red King. There was a Red King toy in there.
Really?
What's weird is they don't have Pigmon in the index of this book.
Ooh.
So, which is a little worrisome to me.
That he's not going to be in there?
Yeah. I mean, but it's not just about Ultraman, this book. It's about the guy who designed all these.
So, like, Pigmon, you said Pigmon left an impression. Did you have, like, nightmares?
Let me tell you what an impression it made on me. So, what happened was, years later, like, I hadn't seen Ultraman in a million years, and I'm recording one of the Medal of Honor soundtracks in Seattle, okay? So, I'm at this hotel, and I get up early. We're about to go to the studio to record, and I'm walking down the hallway, and I hear this screeching sound from this room, right? And the door is sort of open. And I heard the screech, and I got chills. I literally felt scared. Like, I felt scared, and I backed up, and I looked in the room, and they were watching Ultraman. And just the sound that I heard sent this shiver through me like I was 8 years old again. Because it literally used to scare me so much as a kid. But I would watch it no matter what. I still couldn't not watch it.
The show all scared you, or specifically Pigmon was scary to you?
Well, Pigmon frightened me because I didn't know if you could trust him or not. Okay. I mean, I just kept imagining if that thing came down my hallway at night.
He's shocking to look at,
right? If that came down my hallway at nighttime.
Oh yeah, sure.
I would have freaked out.
Yeah,
I would have lost it.
The shot.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid and like I would see things in the shadows.
Yes.
And laying in bed. And it would be like, it's kind of like a figure there. Nothing scared me more, just the thought that he might touch me.
You know, you have to understand, I grew up in New Jersey, okay, and I was terrified of Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, all these things. So I had a ritual.
Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil was I was so scared of that as well, in the Pine Barrens. And we weren't far from the Pine Barrens, actually. But it was Bigfoot, for some reason, that was the most scary. Uh-huh. And I used to have a ritual at night. And at night, I would have to close my eyes, and I would imagine that all of these boards were being put up on all the windows in the house. And I had to physically imagine in my head, just really go through every window in the house.
Are they that's being put on there by magic? Or
yes, it's just sort of being put up.
Yeah, like you're watching some, like The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Exactly, that's all just happening. And until, I couldn't go to sleep until I, in my mind, went through that with every window of the house.
Amazing.
And then I could go to sleep.
The whole house, not just your room.
No, the whole house.
Amazing.
The whole house. So that was, I lived for these shows, but they also terrified me to no end.
And the thing that sucks is, usually Kaiju are like gigantic.
Yes.
Pigmon could walk through your front door.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what maybe he was why it was more scared of that. Because like I said, I always imagined that he would come down my hallway, bouncing down the hallway.
Yeah, because there's a shot where he was distracting the monster and he's bouncing around. It still looked kind of unsettling.
It's freaky.
Like, I'm going to make an animated GIF of that, and I'm going to post it on Twitter because it's really freaky. It's like the film was like slightly sped up.
It's kind of sped up, yeah.
And it's kind of manic and just his hands are flopping around.
Yeah. It's so scary. I don't like it.
He's got no arms. He's just hands?
Just hands. And they didn't never grab anything either. They just hung there.
It's a weird design.
They never offered him any food either. Anything. I don't know.
Yeah, that came up. I was thinking about that came up when we were talking about Mothra and when the guy kidnaps the twins. And I'm like, how do you take care of these Mothra twins? Like, how do you know what you're supposed to feed them?
Well, wait. I said baby carrots.
What do the monsters eat?
Other monsters?
They don't eat people, do that, right?
Though. I never saw them eat.
They never eat people.
I think Rampage, the game, is the only time you see like monsters.
Them actually eating the people.
Well,
there's other kaiju movies where they eat people. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, that poster.
Oh, the Gwanji, Valley of the Gwanji.
Is that doesn't he? Where he grabs the guy and he eats that one cowboy.
Oh, yes.
He picks him up and eats him.
Oh, that's an awesome movie. I remember I showed that to my son, and he cried during that movie because at the end, the T-Rex gets burned in a church. It's like they trap him in this church, and they burn the church down. And he's like, and I remember I looked over at Mick, and he was crying during that. And he must have been 8 years old or something. He was.
I think
that's always good. You go, oh, good, my son has empathy.
Yes.
They're not going to turn into something.
I think Kong in Skull Island. You haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
We've seen it. There's a shot of a dude. It might even be in the trailer. He falls out of a helicopter towards King Kong's mouth.
Yes, I've seen that in the trailer.
Yeah. But they cut away.
They immediately cut. As soon as he lands in the mouth, they cut.
But you don't see him again either, right? So you're assuming he gets eaten.
You don't see a lot of people.
Or would he spit them out? Like, does he want to eat them? I mean, that was an accident, right? That's like when a fly goes in your mouth. You don't.
I think he ate them.
I think he'd eat them.
You think he just eat them?
It's just survival.
So.
Yeah, but it's like he eat whatever.
Did they talk about what he ate on that island? Because
you see him eating it.
Oh, we see him eating.
You see him hunt.
Oh, okay. Because he's bigger than
fish.
He's as big as Godzilla, right? I mean, like in this movie,
he's almost. He's not quite there yet. He's like they mentioned that he's only like an adolescent or something. That he's still growing.
Oh God!
And this takes place in the 70s, so by the time
he's
they meet up with Godzilla in present day
to be big as Godzilla, and that's basically what we're assuming.
Wow, but that's like how many years? 40 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, maybe he'll get all like silver on his back.
Is he gonna get? He's gonna be old, right?
You got to see it. You gotta watch it. It's really good.
It's good.
I don't know. It's scary, but yeah, the
it's less traditional gorilla.
I always wondered, we had. How did you know about the Jersey Devil?
I knew about the Jersey
Devil. It's like there was like I had.
You did too.
Yeah, I was going to say
where'd
it too.
You grow up? Here,
Downey, Southern California.
So, but how did
it's like when they do like those book fairs at school and you buy like Scholastic Club.
Really?
There's always those kind of books for kids, and there's one that's called like Mysteries, Monsters, and Untold Secrets, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that just had all stuff like Big Birds Over Texas, which are like these pterodactyl things, and obviously Bigfoot and Loch Ness and all those. And the Jersey Devil was there. That was one of them. And those kind of monster books I always checked out of the library too.
Those things had such an effect on me. There was another, remember like In Search Of and those kinds of things. Yeah. There was one I saw watching a documentary about Bigfoot, and I only saw it once, and I must have been 8, 9 years old. And there was this scene in the documentary, air quotes, and where this woman is sitting by a window, and it's at nighttime, so you hear the crickets. Yeah. She's sitting by a window at night. She's reading this book, and there's this lampshade to her left, a lamp with a nice lampshade. She's reading, and then it's very quiet, and all of a sudden, you see all of a sudden you see this shadow go past the window behind her. She doesn't notice it, right? It goes by, and you're just like, oh God, what's going to happen? And then a moment of silence, and then boom, there's this crash. A hand comes through, a big furry hand smashes through the window, knocks over the lamp, and is trying to grab her, and she like screams and runs.
I feel like I've seen this too.
That terrified me, right? So I only saw it that one time. So years later, this was about 4 years ago, I'm with my friends at work one day, And I said, you know what? I saw this thing and I was telling this story. And they're like, no, your mind is making that up. That's not, you can't have just remembered all of that. I said, so we started Googling for this thing and we found the scene and it is exactly as I described it after seeing it just once as a kid. So these things sort of really imprint on your brain.
Totally.
And that's probably something also that made you mentally board up the house.
Yes, exactly. Those are the things that made me do all that.
That's like, now so many things like, I'll try and be like, what was this thing that you just catch the glimpse of as a kid?
Yeah.
Like there's that movie Deadly Blessings where the spider goes out in one's mouth. There's another one that was called The Screaming Woman that I remember I seeing on the TV my grandparents' house. And this woman was like, what's this dog doing? It's just, and you hear this noise, like just like, and she's like hearing this noise. She's just following this dog that goes off, and she looks, and there's like some essentially like a fresh grave buried, and there's a woman laying in there who's like, and the woman sees it, and she goes, she screams, and then the title card comes up, The Screaming Woman.
Did you ever see Prophecy?
No.
There was a scene in there where this monster sort of grabs this person who's in a sleeping bag, one of those sleeping bags where your head just is in this little circle thing. They pick them up and they throw them against a tree, and it just explodes in feathers, and it just, and I never forgot. That me and my brother were always so scared of that. Like, if we talk about it now, he would freak out. He'd just be...
The only thing I could think of really that got me is the birth in V.
Oh, great.
The alien.
Well, first the baby comes out normal.
The TV series.
The baby comes out normal, and then she spits her tongue out, and she's got like the forked tongue. It's like, whoa. And then the other baby crawls out on his own.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
But then that baby doesn't survive. He dies, and the next, was that the beginning of the series or something?
I was probably running.
I think that was the movie was the ended with the birth, but then he dies then I felt real bad because he actually turned out pretty cute. That little lizard. Speaking of Bigfoot, looking at your cabinet of curiosities.
Yes.
In your office, you have the $6 Million Man Bigfoot.
I have the $6 Million Man Bigfoot. Yep, and I might have the $6 Million Man. He's in the garage. I got to get him out.
He was just like this normal human face with a beard.
It was
kind of
good.
like Grizzly Adams.
Wasn't he
then a fursuit?
Didn't he turn out to be a robot?
Oh yeah, he was a robot.
Yeah, actually, if you open the
does that guy's face open up?
Yep. Well, no, it's chest.
Oh, okay.
So if you punch him, if Steve Austin could, so we have Bigfoot doll right here, and we go. Could punch in that.
Oh, was this your toy, or
this was mine? No,
later?
Almost all of those are ones that are mine from when I was a kid. Yeah,
nice.
Yep. So my mom kept everything.
That's good.
Yeah. So
we all wish our parents were hoarders.
What do you like? I wonder my kids now. I think about those stories that I was just saying, and I think, all right, well, what would their thing? And it's not the same. They don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I show them movies that I think are really scary. Like Poltergeist to me was a really scary movie, right? I showed it to my son, my 12-year-old. He was like, "Oh, it's it's tense," but he goes, "I wouldn't call it scary."
Well, I haven't seen
the
Poltergeist.
Clown?
Yeah,
when he pulls him under the bed, or just when the tree grabs the kid. I was like, did his skin split open?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid. But the things I remember is the chairs moving.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is there a pile of chairs?
Yes, and then they all end up on top of each other.
And then is there a bunch of maggots on some meat?
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah. Or the guy picking his face apart?
Yes, that is really scary.
That is so good.
Or when the skeletons are popping up in the pool at the end. Yes.
That is fantastic. And also that big white,
yes, that big creature thing.
Bone dinosaur creature thing.
Yes.
Through the doorway.
I always thought one of the most kind of really crazy sequences was not even one of those big scary moments, but it was when they were all walking down the stairs at night. All the spirits were coming down the stairs, and they all woke up and they saw them coming through, and they all ended up getting sucked up.
The weird ectoplasm and these bits.
Yeah, and they're
chunky things too that were on them.
Yeah, that must be a thing. Does that really happen?
It's back then, every movie was PG.
Yeah, it was.
So every movie was PG, back then, and so we'd go. We'd just go see it. But nowadays, I don't know if what do you have to show your kids for them to be scared? Probably something rated R. And
that's what I was wondering. So he keeps asking me, well, when are you going to show me a scary movie? And I'm like, these are scary movies. I don't know why you're not scared. And he's like, so he wants to see Alien, and he hasn't seen Alien yet. So that could be the one, but I still don't see
but
it
Alien.
being...
The only thing about Alien that's scary is going to be the jump scare.
Yes, exactly.
It's
and the whole scene when they're holding him down, the thing is coming out. And that's kind of scary. But I still don't see it being the kind of scary that years from now he will go, oh my God, I remember when, you know what I mean? It won't be like...
Which son are we talking about?
My youngest.
Oh, yeah, because you got to get him young.
It's too late for...
Got to get him young to traumatize.
But even so, I think it's...
So
I don't think...
You need that trauma. Listen, we all survived that trauma. Like seeing Quinn get chomped by Jaws, I definitely felt like I shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah. That is scary.
Oh.
But he doesn't even think that movie's scary.
Pet Sematary.
Oh, yeah?
Zelda.
Oh, I don't... That's interesting. Okay.
Zelda will do it.
All right. I know, I keep waiting.
Exorcist?
Exorcist didn't scare me. It just grossed me out.
It is gross, and it's. I think even now the way it's paced, I don't know if they'll think it's scary. It's sort of one of those.
I watched Alien recently, and you don't see the alien until like an hour in.
Yeah.
So if your kid's into like waiting for the
show me now,
waiting for that to build.
Man, I played that Xbox Alien Isolation, and that was scary.
Have you heard about it?
He got killed a lot. Yeah, it was hard to. Like, there's parts where like you gotta like hold your breath because you don't want to. You lean back when the alien goes by. But the alien's always running around trying to eat people. And there's so many times when you're sitting there and you hear him moving, but you don't know where he is, and then suddenly he's behind you. And
are you like wearing headphones, or is it in surround? Or
no, just TV sound. But it was enough. It was enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kids are afraid of.
I don't know that they are like. I don't.
Well, even now, like I feel like monsters and like monster movies, even the ones that try to be scary, I just enjoy them because that stuff that brings me joy now. Like as an adult, what's scary is people. You find out, oh no, it's people, like home invasion stuff. That's scary.
Yeah, that's really scary.
About 2 or 3 months ago, we went to the theater by my house to watch Jaws.
Yeah.
They're showing Jaws. And my sister had never seen it before.
Oh.
And she's older than me.
Really?
Yeah. And she said the movie was good, but I think it terrified her.
Oh, so it did affect her.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
I thought you were going to say.
No.
Oh.
I said, what'd you think? Because me and Stevie were like, oh, what'd you think? This is like the greatest movie ever.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't know what to think. And she was kind of curled up in her seat at the movies. So I don't know what that does. Like, is it because she's our age and she can get in that mode of older movies and that scares her?
Maybe.
It is.
Maybe. I don't know. Kids, I think, are exposed to so much these days, like right off the bat. I mean, think of it. We didn't have it just in our face all the time.
Yeah.
And, you had to seek it out in a way. You had to go for it. Now it's just like you turn on the TV, they can watch any number of things. Then it was like I could not wait for Saturday, like at 1 p.m., Creature Double Feature. That was it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And even a movie like The Hand was really scary to me. Something like that. All of those.
I was afraid of The Blob.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It scared me. I was afraid it was going to come through the toilet. I was afraid because it could go through anything.
So is just being a kid not fun anymore?
That's different. It's just different. It's gonna be. Listen, they'll have their own memories for their own contraptions or whatever they're doing their stuff.
Yeah, they're probably already scarred. They just don't know it yet.
Maybe.
Yeah, I wonder how he'd react to like the '60s, The Haunting.
Yeah.
Because that one, I think that's one of the greatest scary movies of all time, and it's just sound effects, basically the whole thing. But it's like that's something that's like you want to watch it in the afternoon while it's still light out.
Well, we had these records that had these like scary stories on them, and we had this one called The Golden Arm, and it was about this guy who this woman tried to bury this golden arm which belonged to this guy, and they kept hearing the voice, it's the golden arm, the gold, and it was like this really just freaky, scary thing.
It's like the scary stories that tell in the dark.
Yes, and we would just sit down in the basement and listen to these records.
I love that stuff too. Lights Out. I used to love listening to Lights Out. Like it's like the KNX 1070, the news station here, would play. Like they have a drama hour where they would play old radio dramas, and one of the days of the week was Lights Out. And then I remember finding a Lights Out record at the library. Man, I went to the library a lot.
Yeah,
like that. remember going to that.
Yeah,
but one of the Lights Out record had this really great thing where he says, "Play this and turn your back to the stereo." And so the whole thing is this guy saying, "He's coming. He's getting closer," and you hear like steps through like dry leaves and stuff
fantastic.
as he approaches. He's getting closer. Oh God, the smell of rotting flesh. He's getting closer. He's only 100 feet away now, and the whole thing goes. He's right. He's reaching out, and he's just about to touch you, and then a scream. It was so great.
There's something about audio, I think, that scares me a little more than movies.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff.
I think that's primal stuff. I think that's the caveman part.
Oh, no, it's totally... There was sometimes when I walk back to the house from the studio, and there was, for a little while, there was this one sort of like... it was like a little fountain thing that wasn't working correctly. And every once in a while, it would go... right? So, but usually it's like during the day or something. So at night, one night I'm walking back, and all of a sudden it goes. I literally I ran to the door because I was like, "What the hell was that?" But you're right; it triggers this lizard brain part of
totally.
you.
The first time I moved to Hawaii, and this first time I actually like living alone, completely, no roommate or anything. I was playing a video game called The Suffering, which was like a scary horror thing with like these creepy characters that would had like blade hands, and they'd run them along a concrete wall, and they made this scratchy noise, just all this creepy stuff. And there were like neighborhood cats that would walk around outside my window, and so I'd be sitting there playing this game, and I'd hear something outside the window, just like taking steps through leaves again, just crackling of leaves as an impression. And I was like, oh, I think I gotta stop this game for a while.
Did you ever listen to number stations? Have you ever listened to number stations at all?
What is that?
Okay, so this is something that it still freaks me out, and I only learned about it maybe like 8 years ago. So if you go online and look up number stations, there's these recordings, and they sound really old, and people saying numbers.
What?
But the thing is, and I haven't really looked into it more because I kind of still want it to be a mystery. People don't know. Apparently, this is all just what I heard.
It's conspiracy.
It's always going on. You know,
are they
radio,
counting?
like
or they're just saying numbers?
There's radio frequencies that you like. If you listen to the radio, like it goes up to like 107.1 or whatever.
Yeah.
There's apparently stations beyond that, and people don't know if it's spies, but there's just these numbers, and it's these people talking. It's almost
and you've
like
heard them.
Yeah, yeah. You
and
can find them on the
random
internet.
Numbers, or is it in sequential order? What?
They freak me out. I don't listen to it that much, but it almost like if you just listen to them, it's like, okay, is this like a spy recording from like the 40s that's still bouncing around the atmosphere?
What?
Is this like? Because I don't know what it is. I said, I don't want to look it up. I don't want to look it up.
It's already dark outside.
But by the time I watched Lost
and the numbers
and the insane iteration, like that reminded me of the number stations, and it freaked me out because it'll just be a lady's voice. It almost sounds like if you watch those ghost shows and they hear a voice and it's got that kind of weird quality to it.
This is a whole thing.
Well, I don't want to know what it is.
Well, they do.
It's the only thing that's still kind of freaks me out.
It says they are believed to be. They don't even know.
Yeah, see, that's what's great.
It says believed to be addressed to intelligence officers operating in foreign countries.
Text me that link.
But
there'll be these tunes, almost like a calliope, almost like a tone, almost. But it's like these tones, and then you just hear a voice, a very static. It's freaky.
Wow!
All right,
they scare.
Can we play one real quick?
Go for it.
All right.
You got one?
Yeah.
It's good. Shit. Okay.
Kilo Golf. Kilo Golf. Kilo Golf. Kilo Golf. Kilo Golf. Kilo Golf.
Creepy. That was just one. Can you hang in there?
Yeah.
3, 2, 8. 3, 2, 8.
Wow. That's good.
It gives me the willies.
That's
still
good.
Yeah.
Computer and tuned into his low-tech shortwave radio, stumbled upon an entire universe of radio stations that the public is not supposed to hear or even know about. They're called number stations, a holdover from the Cold War, but still very much alive and transmitting. Peter Rosen of our Salt Lake City station, KUTV, reports.
Just out there, we found this one frequency somewhere. They're all encrypted. We can't read or understand what they're saying.
At our request, amateur radio enthusiasts John Lloyd and Glenn Worthington
Heard 30, 40 years
I
ago.
love that.
I'm so glad that I know this exists.
I am too. I'm so...
It's great sound design
Yeah.
for stuff.
Because I used to drop that in on the old...
It's so scary, though.
The old Dharma Lars episodes, I would, like for our Halloween shows, I would drop them in beneath the recordings for like a Halloween show.
It's
so fantastic.
But they still freak me out.
The Lincoln
And
Shire
now I don't
culture.
want to leave here and walk
This is like
through the darkness back to my car.
my friend used to do this like he did the Spanish Latin jazz show at Saddleback College, and sometimes I'd go in and we'd do bits that had nothing, didn't really go along with the music we played, but we'd find little stuff to do, and we'd have fun and do bits and play cards and do all these kinds of things like that. And then sometimes the guy who came on after him wasn't going to come in for some reason, and so we'd have to just shut the station down. So then we'd drive home and tune the station. The station just kind of sounds like just like the end of the world has happened, and then we just start scaring each other at the thought. Imagine like aliens just darting across the street from the car and stuff like that.
I love these sounds, though.
There
But see,
was-
this is what I love. Like on a radio, like you could be. That's what I want to live in, that world where you're like the radio is your real
But that's
only
what's
link to.
That's what freaks me out about the number station sounds. Is we could be living in that world. Those
They're still
signals
happening.
are still happening,
Yeah,
and they're moving through us. We just haven't
It's
found
so
the right
old
frequency.
and so the recording is so.
So what are the theories on it?
People say it's spy stuff, which even if it's current, why does it sound like old?
Yeah.
And
To throw
the
people off
thing,
the scent.
the thing that freaks me out is if this is real and now, is there someone in a room right now
Saying
with a
these
microphone saying these things?
in really bad analog machinery?
So some of them are
Crazy.
actual voices where people are just saying things.
Yeah.
Well, that one
Yeah.
was a lady, the German lady.
Yeah, that was cool.
Ooh.
But I mean,
I've listened to a bunch of them. You got to find just like a raw audio file where you hear you hear a crazy tone, almost like an ice cream truck, but it's not a
oh
familiar
yeah.
like
tune.
a demented.
And then
Yeah,
you hear
totally like an ice cream
then you
truck.
hear
Or
like
like when you
it's crazy.
when you're playing one of those Jack in the Boxes and you start
slow it
changing
down.
the speed.
Or do it backwards.
Whoa,
It's weird.
I like this.
Yeah.
It freaks me out.
Maybe Pigmon is on the other line.
Way to bring us back. So Ultraman, and speaking of numbers, this was number 37, and blah blah blah.
All right.
Wow.
Cool. I don't have anything else to say about
that was great.
the Ultraman episode. I definitely want to watch more Ultraman.
We got to do more.
We're
I
about to do-
would love to go through. I kind of, now that I've watched that one, I feel like I want to go through the whole.
Yeah, I
thing
want to
again,
watch more.
You know, because I forget if it. I don't believe there's like an arc to the entire series, but it would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they were
I
just
doubt
episodic.
it. I feel it feels like everything's got to be self-contained.
But that thing did come
Yeah,
back,
we
so
did-
there might have been some episodes that connect.
Yeah,
So-
Like that's not
but
the
no
original.
overarching mythology.
No.
I think once it's a setup in the pilot,
That's it.
That's
You're
all we
off
need
to
to
the
know.
races. Yeah.
Yeah.
So episodes of Superman or something. Yep. Well, there you have it.
that was
Yeah.
awesome.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us, letting us come over
And
and watch
introducing
it.
us to
Oh,
the
oh my
world
God!
of
Absolutely.
Ultraman,
And then,
Anytime.
the Ultraverse.
Anytime. Let's. We'll be more organized and know more about it next time.
And then next week we'll have another regular episode. And if you guys want to visit us, go to kaijupod.com. That has links to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And it also has our previous episodes. So until next time.
So next time, I'm just going to sit down in this department store and just fall asleep.
I'm going to actually bounce around with my hands flopping up and down.
I'm going to go translate a third species of bear.
There we go.
There we go.